So, if you've clicked on this video, you must be a fellow artist. Or at least someone who is starting out, and you are perhaps worrying yourself about needing to have a specific style or make otherworldly pieces of art to keep up with the overconsumption of art you get shown every day on social media that stand out. I hope this brings you some comfort to know you've come to the right spot, where I'm going to discuss all sorts of themes like facing art block and avoiding comparison to make a healthier mindset on your art journey. The painting I'm creating in this video is actually on topic to this, so I will revert back to it later, so stick around. First things first, to clear things up, I'm sure you know this is a situation every artist has dealt with at some point in their lives. We are all in the same boat, and hell, I'm even treading waters with uncertainty like most of the time. But it may bring you more peace to know that needing to have an art style is essentially a myth. Why do I say that? Well, let's use dating as an example. Often people don't find one person, date them, and that being the only person they stay with for the rest of their lives. But we dip in and out of dates with multiple people, and our taste with partners continues to shift and alter per heartbreak. I see it as similar to trying to find an art style, I suppose, and sticking to it. As we grow our knowledge and inspirations constantly and they shift over time, so maybe the style we liked previously, we have outgrown that taste and crave something more. We are ever evolving creatively, and that's quite beautiful, no? Artists are a whole web of creative outlets. You don't need to put so much pressure on yourself to be one thing when artists are a whole web of creative outlets. For artists who want to turn their work into a full-time career, what I previously mentioned, obviously is like much more effective for those who don't rely on being an artist for income. That's a whole different topic of business. That's how it is. She's kind of gonna be a punk rock Mary, kind of like a whatever that means. Yeah. Because the original pose, she's obviously holding her dying son. So her hands are covered, so I'm trying to figure out how to make it fit in, because her hands don't show in the picture. So she's got one hand here, who's like, nee, and then she's got another hand here that's like, huh. You can keep the same principles about these things, you gotta alter it considering you gotta have actually market it to an audience. Perhaps you started out good, but now you've done it for so long, this same repetitive style, that you're just like, I need something fresh. That's why it's said to like, don't monetize what you love doing as a job. It eventually kind of kills the joy of your creative freedom, but if being an artist is your sole passion, there is always a way. I suppose a good way to go about it is gaining the trust of your audience in your craft. Sprinkle ideas of merging into similar or new styles you want to try out towards them and see how they feel about it. Companies put out new products all the time and they always test it with people, and then if it works out and people are liking it, then release the products. You gotta sprinkle the idea out there, pitch it to your people. Another alternative is perhaps sticking towards a different audience that you target towards. Pretty much finished this first square, so now I'm gonna do it. Oh, that was a lie. That was a lie. Magic of editing. And we are back, and everything has been darkened. I've run out of white and patience, so I think we're gonna move on. Don't worry, I've got more white paint. So then they are more prone to liking this new idea, and you'll still continue to get a nice influx of sales. But if you want to prioritize your art over the people, then you gotta find some new people who are into that art, you know? You're probably thinking, whoa, I haven't even gotten to that bit yet. This is so much business talk already. Yeah, I'm kind of jumping into the deep end a little bit there. Let's work it back a little bit. Let's get back to the basics, the main principles, which is finding and creating art that actually speaks to you. Hell, we're here to find art styles, not business business advice, okay? So considering how social media has every artist posting their work, instead of doom scrolling, why not utilize the social media instead? Start like compiling a list of artists to follow whose work you found really cool and inspiring towards something you actually want to try out. Pinterest is the holy grail place for finding cool art references for your art to use as test subjects for methods you want to try. You are allowed to practice new things after all. Research on perhaps YouTube or artist forums on methods other artists recommend on the medium or style you are trying to achieve with your work. Also attending artist or general creative events, you don't know the type of people you will meet. who could influence you so greatly. Point about visiting creative events actually leads me on to what this painting is that I'm doing. It's kind of punk rock merry-ish that I pulled from my brain as an idea, but this wouldn't have happened at all if I wasn't inspired from this artist I met at an event. She's this Spanglish person like myself, and she does work surrounding her original character that she makes digitally. She places that character in different scenic locations in Spain. Her work is incredible, and it made me think, what if I mixed my British heritage with Spanish? That's why this painting has elements of Spanish ceramic mosaic style in the background and the Virgin Maria, and more punky rawness for the British side representation. The sword is just there for unity, let's say. I wanted to try something out of my comfort zone, and this piece challenged me, which became more exciting. So pull ideas from other people and sort of make it into your own. Try these new things and see if you like them, and it's really cool. As much as exposing yourself to all sorts of incredible artists in history and modern media and going to galleries and seeing all that stuff that can help you out, you also need to take a step back. Like, literally shut everything down that gives your brain some sort of stimulation and sit in silence. Do you ever think of a really good question once you're already tucked into bed, but you have to look it up before you forget? It's similar to when you think of an idea and you're like, oh shit, this might be the best idea I've ever had. I have to like note it down before I forget in the morning or something. I don't know about the sciences, but clearly a calmer brain without constant stimulation creates a calmer mind in some sense, and ideas come naturally with a clear head. And why at night, when you're keeping your brain at rest, that's when thoughts go flying about and you start plucking ideas out of thin air. I'm not saying you need to subject yourself to torturous silence sat in your bedroom floor for an idea to pass. Take a walk out in nature. Hell, sometimes the nature itself inspires you. Regardless, with just the sound of the environment as your own stimulus, ideas can come out of nowhere. Start picking stuff out. You can feel like really drawn to them, and you'll just have that eureka moment. If you want to encourage that to happen more frequently, give yourself peace of mind, you know? I think my final point to make about comparison. Now hear me out. Not all comparison is bad and thieving of joy, but only if you are mindful of how you compare. Again, another analogy. I feel like a bloody sensei here, but if it's the first time at a gym and you're awkwardly using machines and you're not really knowing how to use them, you sometimes glance and compare to someone else using the machine and see their form and their strategy of how they use it. You can improve on yourself and use them properly. Not like I use the gym, but anyway, in an artist case, if your techniques are suffering, it's complicating things, and your results aren't the way you want and you're not really sure why, then comparison is okay if you wish to learn and improve on your skills. Comparison is the worst if you use it to doubt your skills and your worthiness as an artist. You are a valid artist regardless of your skill level. If you think about it, artists are kind of like inventors. You bring something brand new into existence all the time onto a canvas. People haven't seen them before. Isn't that the bloody coolest? Comparing yourself just isn't fair to yourself and not productive to your growth. You can think about it. People don't often see some people are just way more financially well off and they can afford a lot of these art supplies and their own studio, whereas you're up in an average income family where you see art supplies that you can afford. That's still valid. You're still creating incredible things and are capable of creating incredible stuff. So please hear me out. When you think like this, it's not productive to your growth. Build on the skills you have, focusing on what you love to do. And all the I'm not good enough, that mindset, no. That mindset should be placed on the sidelines as you focus on what matters to thrive. You got this, bitch. Period. I would like providing a little bit of art style backstory on my end. I've always been attracted to realism. Perhaps that was because a lot of people were instilled that realism is the only skilled or valid cool art, which is bullshit, by the way. Have you seen everything that's made today? Incredible. But regardless, I really just wanted to be able to draw a face and have it actually look like that person. And since I managed to achieve that, I'm now bored. And I feel they need an extra spice, like some creative elements added to them. They just feel like a plain pencil sketch, and I wanted to explore things that I want to add to it. Initially, I was looking into not doing faces at all. Maybe I just want to try a whole different style, maybe something scenic, maybe paintings that have meaning behind them, all that jazz. But with everything I looked into, I found there are a lot of sick portrait artists out there that don't just do a simple pencil sketch of a face. They are just incredible. And there's people who do hyper realism, which which, oh, the patience for that I could never achieve. I admire those people. But I saw people who do portraits, but they add a lot of elements to them. They add graphics on top of them, like very mixed media street style appearance, and I just fell in love with it. It really speaks to my punky side. So I think from here on out, I really want to explore that. Now, this awakening was before this Mary piece right here, so this is actually one of the more recent experiments before the awakening. I just wanted to do a piece that was inspired by what this Spanish artist showed me, and you know, I really like this piece. The idea was super fun to achieve, but I think I might try and keep that idea in mind, but keep it more on the portrait end. So the idea of mixing culture, references and all that stuff together, but sticking with portraits. Regardless, I really like doing this painting. To really wrap up that, you gotta collect your ideas from all sources and just compile what you love that speaks to you most and let yourself experiment, because you've got the time in the world. You gotta make time for it. If you don't have time, quote unquote, because there's always time, there's little moments in the day you can do to plan ideas or do little sketches here and there, you know, because you may absolutely love the outcome of what you try out, and hell, you've now got essentially a style and you've made it your own. And that's what amazing. Yes, you've been inspired by people, but you're not copying, you know? This is something you've compiled into your own personal self and style. Yes. Well, creative baddies, this has been a fun chat. I hope you had something to take away from this. It felt like I gained more motivation and confidence, so you have to do the same and have your internal thoughts tell yourself, you've got this, you are a creative individual and you're an artist, you create incredible bodies of work and you're fully capable to try new concepts you have been dying to try but holding yourself back. Give those affirmations to yourself, you deserve it. How do you think this punky Mary turned out in the end? I'm really happy I did the black outline and the red handle on the sword. Those weren't planned at all, but it really added another element to it. Perhaps it makes her look less ghosty, but I'm fine with that. I don't know why I wanted her ghostly in the first place really, but there we go. That's what happens when you brainstorm ideas and switch up stuff in the moment. You can come up with incredible stuff that makes a whole lot of difference. Please leave a juicy like on this video if you enjoyed these art chats. It lets me know you want to see more content like this, and subscribe if you want more art related content from my channel. My recent one is also an art chat style video, but completely on the theme of childhood, which is ironically probably related to art, but you get to see me drawing and talk about art I make in that video at least. Leave a comment if any points you found in this video was insightful or motivating to you and your awesome art journey. I'll catch you all later. Bye bye!